A very good evening to you and welcome to RTV News with me, Fiona Mbabazi. Now this Tuesday, the second phase of COVID-19 vaccinations will begin countrywide in Rwanda. This phase begins with more than 100,000 Pfizer vaccines. We do have the details with Serge Nore.
At Kibagabaga Hospital here in Kigali, nurses and the heads of different health centers had begun to gather to collect their share of the vaccines on Monday morning, ahead of the launch of the second phase of vaccinations on Tuesday.
I came here to get the COVID vaccines and they've given me the number we've asked for in order to vaccinate our target number tomorrow of 270 people. We counted the number of people over the age of 60 who were not vaccinated last time, and so we've come to get the Pfizer vaccines to do it. This time around, we'll be giving the jab to just 218 people left over from the more than 820 we vaccinated the first time around.
Just as it was done during the first round of vaccinations, the most vulnerable to the COVID-19 virus, namely the elderly and those with incurable diseases, will be given priority. The lists have been prepared and we have been focusing on the elderly. They have all been made aware through local officials and health centers because they are the ones who prepare those lists at the settlement level. And when the time comes, they come to be vaccinated. Half of the available 100,600 Pfizer vaccines have been initially distributed, with the remainder to be used for the administration of the second dose for those that will start being given the jab come Tuesday. The country will continue vaccinating more people as more vaccines become available. We are expecting more vaccines before the year ends. The first to come will again be Pfizer towards the end of June. By the end of December, we will have received around 3.5 million Pfizer vaccines, meaning the vaccination program has remained on track and we will soon have a very large number of vaccinated individuals in the country. Rwanda's objective continues to be the vaccination of at least 60% of our population against COVID-19.
Today, both chambers of Parliament began the third ordinary term of the year 2020-2021. Introducing the third term, the Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies, Honorable Mukabalisa Donatil, pointed out that during this period, the Chamber of Deputies is expected to carry out various functions related to its responsibilities, including legislative and the oversight of the government's activities and outreach activities with the help of technology.
During
this ordinary session, we will also vote for the law on budget for the year 2021-2022. We'll also vote on the establishment of the Kigali International Financial Center, and I believe that this will ease doing business and boost our economy that was affected by the pandemic. We will also oversee the government activities and look into some of the problems citizens can be facing by the use of technology or other means allowed during this pandemic, and this will help us listen to the voice of the citizens and base our laws on the needs and solutions for the citizens. Now the commencement of the ordinary term of the Senate for the year 2020-2021, the Vice President of the Senate, Honorable Esperance Nyirasafari, said that during the quarter, the Senate will focus on overseeing the implementation of the basic principles provided for in Article 10 of the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda as one of the main responsibilities of the Senate. Looking into the implementation of the fundamental principles as stipulated in Article 10 of the Constitution of 2003 and revised in 2015. Article 2, the oversight of political parties. Article 3, approval of officials in different capacities. Article 4, voting on the laws. Article 5, government oversight. Article 6, consultative meetings and training. Article 7, the community outreach program. Now, the legislature has three regular two-terms, in which also the General Assembly, for in the absence of a term, it may convene an extraordinary term due to the urgency of the purpose, tasks, At the end of the regular term, members of Parliament continue their work in the standing committees, which review the law, monitor the activities of the government, visit the public and receive their views and opinions. Parliamentary martyrs, the Parliament has approved the relevance of a draft law governing negotiable instruments such as the promissory notes, checks and others that can be used in place of a cash when carrying out transactions. Now, officials from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning have noted that such instruments can also be used digitally.
The officials from the ministry told parliamentarians that the law will help transform Kigali into an international financial center because it will facilitate the use of negotiable instruments between traders across the globe.
Such negotiable instruments facilitate traders when carrying out transactions involving goods or settling debts, giving confidence to creditors even when borrowers do not have cash immediately available, because they serve as promissory notes that payment will be made when the agreed upon time comes.
The draft law also allows microfinance institutions to use checks as long as there is prior approval from the central bank, though this and the use of other negotiable instruments online did raise some concerns from the parliamentarians.
We must assess how we are prepared to deal with cases of fraudulent digital negotiable instruments and other incidents of theft.
Article 4 states that anyone can sign a negotiable instrument, not necessarily the original issuer. I want to ask the Honourable Minister if this cannot be the source of problems with people stealing, pretending to be the issuer. The Minister reminded the MPs that the country has institutions in place to deal with cyber crimes.
When you look at the different services already being provided, technology is becoming a big part of the process, especially in financial institutions. So obviously, with this digital migration, we must be prepared to deal with problems caused by hackers and other developed forms of artificial intelligence that could potentially hack even our own systems. That sort of security is being considered.
Now that the relevance of the draft law has been approved by the parliamentarians, the concerned committee in Parliament will now examine each of the articles in the draft law together with the institution that originally submitted it.
As Rwanda joins the rest of the globe in marking World Food Safety Day, officials of the Rwanda FDA are urging the general public to take food standards seriously, as substandard food products can sometimes be the root cause of the serious diseases such as cancer and diabetes. We have the details with Ungari Jade.
One can find a variety of food in different markets, and locals say they value the quality of their food while they go to buy their groceries. In order to get good cassava leaves mashed up and ready for cooking, we wash them thoroughly and then add all the necessary spices. If you eat them without first properly washing them, they can cause digestive issues. One must pay attention when it comes to the cleanliness of the food he or she consumes. Once the fish is spoiled or rotten, it is like poison. When you consume it, it leads to a stomach ache. Good fish is red in the ears. If it's not good, then the ears will turn black. A farmer and trader in vegetables and fruits of various varieties says that caring for the quality of food begins during cultivation.
When you get good quality seeds for vegetables and fruits, this is the first step that helps in tracking the produce. We carefully select the seeds and put in the fertilizer, which makes the plant grow better. When it is ripe, one buys and consumes it. He or she hopes that there are no negative health impacts from the fertilizer.
The head of Food and Drugs Inspection and Safety Monitoring Department at Rwanda Food and Drug Administration, notes that substandard food products can have serious health consequences.
Food that is highly nutritious has incredible benefits for one's health. There are sicknesses such as diabetes, cancer, and others which start from consuming foods that are not good for one's health. Statistics from the Ministry of Health show that the number of people with such diseases is on the rise. What we are asking people to do is to make sure that what they are eating is of the highest quality and meets required standards.
As Rwanda joins the rest of the globe in marking World Food Safety Day, people are being advised to choose high-quality foods that nourish and protect their bodies. The World Health Organization says that more than 600 million people worldwide are infected each year with foodborne illnesses, while about 420,000 people die each year from contaminated food, 40% of which are children under the age of 5. Umngari Jade, RTV News.
Now, the National Agricultural Export Development Board, NAEB, has announced plans to build a modern fruit and vegetable market. Now, this follows concerns from farmers whose produce have gone bad due to lack of the modern storage facilities. And as Gabi Muvunyi reports, the construction of this market will rather cost 29 million Rwandan francs.
Some horticulture farmers who sell their products to the local and international markets say they face the challenge of access to cold room storage facilities, which have a detrimental effect on their produce. Without these cold rooms, their produce goes bad and they suffer from losses.
For
our vegetables to get to the cold room in NAEB, it takes a very long time, and you find that our produce loses its value in terms of reduced weight and poor quality. Because if we harvest between 8 to 10 tons per hectare, then we take it to NAEB and the produce goes bad and we are left with 6 tons, we are at a loss. If we have access to cold rooms, it will really help us and our products will remain in good quality till their consumption. We do not have modern storage facilities to store our produce, like a cold storage room for the vegetables, which is a very serious problem. Just like modern storage facilities have been made available for other crops, such facilities are also needed for vegetables as well.
The Chief Finance Officer at the National Agricultural Export Development Board, Andre Ndikumana, says this is a project in collaboration with the government of Rwanda, which will be known as the Kigali Wholesale Market. It will have a modern storehouse for vegetables and fruits that are easily damaged. This market will also help to ensure that all these products retain their quality before being traded on the local and international markets. He adds that this market will meet international standards.
The market will have 3 parts, a warehouse, a trading space, and an administration area where we can have banks, restaurants, and more that support the market. The second part will have the produce from the farm to the market. We will train people and put up the necessary infrastructure. And the third part is from the market to various small buyers, hotels, and other markets we have in the country, not forgetting the international market as well.
The government of Rwanda has already purchased land in the Special Economic Zone where the market will be built. The final study is still underway and the blueprint is expected to be completed by September this year, with construction expected to take at least 18 months. He assures the farmers that this project will solve the problem concerning the issues of damaged produce before it hits the market, at least from 40% of the damaged produce to 5%.
The first thing this project is going to help farmers with is a market for their produce, including data on the location of buyers and other details so that they know exactly how much they should produce. Also, the government will also help with proper training on how to properly handle that produce right from their fields to the final buyer. That way the farmers can recuperate prior losses.
NAEB estimates that at least 40% of vegetable and fruit production is wasted each year. The market is expected to cost approximately 29 billion Rwandan francs and is expected to start construction by 2022. Gabi Muvunyi for RTV.